Well, guys, it took 5 seasons. 5 seasons and episode 4 of the 5th season and 23 minutes of the entire episode. They should have just started out with this. You know what I'm saying? This was probably the most dragged out and the most underwhelming kiss. And not to mention the most forced kiss ever. Now, I was honestly like very impressed that Chizuru would actually kiss Kazuya. But it wasn't Chizuru willingly kissing him. It was Mommy Nanami. Mommy Nanami. She is the one that suggested that they kiss, to prove their relationship wasn't actually a lie. Right? If it wasn't for Mommy Nanami, this would have never happened. Even Ruka and the other dude, nerdy looking guy, were like, hey, let's just go to the arcade. It's not a big deal. They said that they're actually dating, even though she's a rent-a-girlfriend. Before, Chizuru's grandma died, they're like, hey, man, it's not a big deal, let's just go. They were really trying to downplay the whole situation, which is fine. They're friends. Friends do what friends are going to do. But can we not also talk about how this was a huge L for Ruka? Like, bro, Ruka, why are you helping the ops? Ruka obviously wants Kazuya to herself. Why are you helping the ops? Whatever. If you guys are a Ruka stan, fine, that's okay. If you're girls like that, whatever. Ruka doesn't know what she wants anymore. Does she want to help Kazuya? Does she want to be with Kazuya? This whole debacle shows that she didn't really want him that bad. You know what I'm saying? Because she would have been like, yup, she's been lying. She was lying a piece of shit. And she should have been like, yup, Kazuya's lying too. They weren't dating prior to Chizuru's grandma died. They're just liars. And then even Kibe was like, you're not a liar, are you? Yes. Kazuya is a pathological liar. And Chizuru is just simply lying with him between her teeth, bro. These are two lying, pathological pieces of shits. Mommy isn't any better with her sociopathic tendencies. But not as bad as this. This is just peak fucking lying. And like I said, I don't hate Kazuya. He got to kiss one of his most admired gals, his main gal, if you will, and look, you gotta give it to Mommy Nanami. If it wasn't for her, we would have to go 6 seasons, 7 seasons until they fucking kiss, like for real. Think about it. Think about it. If it wasn't for Nanami, they would have never kissed. And that is a fact. 5 seasons later, and the most dragged out fucking episode, bro. This whole episode was just flashbacks. You honestly could just skip it just to watch this scene and get it over with. Holy fuck, bro. I cannot tell you how fucking boring this episode was. This episode was so fucking trashy that the whole... Like, they were really trying to hype it up. Hype it up. They're going through the flashbacks. Going through all this other bullshit. Trying to paint Kazuya like a good guy. Like, you should feel bad for him. Like, nah, fuck that. I'm about to say the N-word. I was gonna say that N-word. But anyways. But I can't be mad at Kazuya. He lied himself to a kiss. Think about you guys don't think about this shit, do you? He lied himself to the point where Mizu, like, as much as I don't like Mizuha and her lying sociopathic behavior, we can't lie to ourselves. She's she's a 10, she's a dime. She is a dime along with Mommy Nanami. She, other than her pathological lying and manipulation and all this shit, Mommy Nanami's a dime too. Ruka is a dime. If we just ignore all their all their faults, based on looks, they're dimes. All right, there's no denying that. Unless you're like want to be some incel hater, fine, whatever. But at the end of the day, these gals are top gals. So yeah, W Mami Nanami for actually getting Kazuya to kiss Chizuru, and L Ruka for not wanting Kazuya that bad. You know, at the end of the day, that's Ruka flopped this one. She allowed this kiss to happen. And L Mizuha, cause I thought she was gonna kiss Kazuya not because she was provoked by Mami Nanami, but because she wanted to. And even if she did do it unprovoked, she would have done it under the guise of, oh, peer pressure. Everyone's fucking pressuring her. You know, she's trying to get out of this, this hole that she dug for herself. Trying to save face. But holy fuck, this is legit the most dragged out, the most underwhelming kiss in anime history ever. I have not seen such a kiss that's such a facade. This scene in particular I'm talking about. Now, if they actually end up dating outside of this, it doesn't matter. At this moment, this very scene, the whole atmosphere, the whole peer pressure, it was just incredibly such a lie, such a cover-up, such a huge fucking, oh my god, it was just terrible. Like, this is the worst kiss ever, man. Just based on the circumstances, it really is just one sad, very sad incident. But hey, you know, Kazuya's lying, crying like a little bitch, his snot coming out, and in the middle of it all, he got to kiss Chizuru. Big W on his part. That's all I got. Like, holy fuck, you know, was it worth it? Was the 2 years of lying worth it? 2 years of just being a lying piece of shit worth it? You know, for that kiss, was the kiss worth it, Kazuya? Like, it's just, you know, that's the thing about anime, right? These guys are not real. You know, if only we'd have to find someone with the same circumstances, just to ask them the same question, but it's never gonna happen. No one is this big of a lying piece of shit like Kazuya. That says a lot. That really says a lot.